1, 2, or sorry, Model 1, 3, 4, and 4 P, the Model 2, 12, 16, and 6000, and then the CoCo, and I don't know if they do the pocket computers on there or not, but it's got pretty much everything on there, and it starts in about 45 minutes, so you might want to join in there as well.
So when
And
y'all
now
do
I
your
can't.
meetings, are y'all doing everything through Blue Jeans, or y'all meeting in person? How are y'all doing these?
Right now we're doing Blue Jeans, and even before the pandemic, Blue Jeans was in use because we've got folks who were not in the Chicago area, and so this was an opportunity for them to join virtually. And then when the pandemic started up, we just switched everything
Nice.
to virtual only. But my assumption, and I guess I'll lean on Bob and John Mark, who's here somewhere. He was. Did I lose you, John Mark? Well, maybe we lost him. But
No,
anyway, oh, and
he's
Eric.
up
Oh, there
there.
he is. Sorry, I saw
See ya.
your shirt. Now I see your shirt. So they're in the Chicago area, and they had previously met at a library. What library did you guys meet at?
The Schaumburg,
The Model 2,
what was that? Schaumburg Public Library.
12, 16,
The
and
this
60
organization started at the Glenside
area, and they had previously
Library in
met at a
Glendale Heights,
library.
Illinois,
What
and
library
we
did you
moved
guys meet
up
at?
to Schaumburg. The Schaumburg
The Model
Public,
2,
what was which that? Was
Schaumburg
of course a much
12,
larger.
16,
And it
and
was this
60
organization started at the Glenside
area, and they had
Library.
previously.
We like
We'll
free.
probably be able to start up going again here in the next couple of months, assuming they open it up.
Yeah, that was my thinking. So obviously,
Schaumburg.
Lloyd, I think that was you, and so you
Schaumburg
probably won't be able to
Public.
join
What was that?
in person because last time I checked, Mississippi is not adjoining to Illinois, but some people might be able. Some people might be able
I
to
was
go
just
to an actual physical meeting.
I was just looking at the drive because we will probably drive up when we come in November. But it's like it works out to about 11 hours, give it 11 and a half, 11 hours, depends on how many laws I want to break.
Yep.
Coming up, it's a little clip, but I'm glad. How often do y'all meet?
Once a month.
Yes, please, please, please let me know because this is this stuff, and I don't know if this is the most sustainable of all of my hobbies.
Well, we'll get you on the mailing list, and we'll send you a link and send you an update. We typically hold our meetings on the third Thursday of the month, so you can just plan on that.
Okay.
Hi, Tony.
Right, I'll put it in my Outlook.
Once you get the newsletter, you'll get all the information you'll need, I believe.
That's wonderful. Are there dues or anything I need to pay? I'm good if I do. It's just
dues always open, but you don't have to be a dues paying member to be a member. You're going to get the mailings anyway. The only reason you might pay dues is because you might want to vote.
Well, I believe in supporting things that I think it's good to be active and support things.
Voting rights, they got it.
Yeah, we used to have a statue that said, help support your local whatever, Cocoa Club, so whatever. It's just that as all the Cocoa clubs around the country were dying off, we did our level best to become worldwide. Glenside did. So we'll write that story up soon, I'm told.
Excellent.
Yeah, years ago I used to strum a guitar with Curtis Boyle.
Yep.
And I can't do that anymore. My hands don't work. So I've got these 2 guitars I'm going to pass on to my granddaughter. She's already playing the violin, and she owns a mandolin.
Nice.
Got to get her into strings. Those were good days.
Yeah. No, we had some really good jam sessions. Rick Elan was in some of those too.
You had to let him know. I was hoping people would forget that.
Of course, Tony's unique rendition of House of the Rising Sun was a highlight every year during those jam sessions. So.
Tony, huh? Okay.
It'll be nice to get back to that. Just wanted to make sure we had some introductions here. I've got somebody on the phone. 206, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, it's showing your phone number. I'm not sure how to turn that off, but feel free to introduce yourself. And then Jim, Jim Gary, I assume you want a little bit of time tonight to, or are you announcing a winner tonight, or are you carrying your contest over a little longer?
I don't know. Like I say, it's only my son and I have put in high scores for you so far. But yeah, if somebody else posts and beats our scores, then they're going to get a mug. And yeah, I'll announce that tonight.
Fine.
You guys are planning to be on here until 9 o'clock your time?
I think so. We'll probably be on until people start drifting away, and then we'll probably shut it down. So, but
well, if there's something to announce, I'll come and announce it.
That's fine. I was going to say we might want to just announce that maybe you want to put in the chat where the what do I want to say? The contest. The game. Maybe we'll drum up. Yeah, maybe we'll drum up some more support for your thing. Maybe you can announce next week or something. Why don't we get some more folks posting high scores?
Well, I'll see. I'll see if I can put something up here.
Okay. Unfortunately, there's not a way to have the chat and not block off Neil and Fred. And I like Fred's. I like Fred's background, and Neil's background's cool too. So we don't want to knock him out of the running there.
Where's the chat? Okay, well there's chat. Okay, very good. Jail break. He played online. Ripped and mutilated.
Jim, I hope you got my notice that I went to the Tandy list and entered the 24 names that you gave me, and I don't know what to expect for a response. That wouldn't be coming from me, but if you know where to go to, check it out and see if there's any there.
Okay. That's interesting. Maybe that's my hand waving thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut in. I'm fixing to have to run back in. I really wanted to hop in there and say hey, and my name's Lloyd Thompson. I look forward to hanging out in the upcoming next meeting, and thank you guys for letting me join your group. And I'm excited. I'm really pumped to be around like-minded folks who like this stuff. So, but cool. I just really wanted to hop in there and just say hey. So,
no problem.
Okay, we have. You did send in your email address, Lloyd?
He did.
Yeah, I put it in the chat. I put my phone number, email, and my snail mail address also. I actually have two emails I put in there. They're almost identical. One's live and one's Gmail.
Okay, thank you.
So, but it's good seeing you guys, and look forward to it. It's gonna be fun.
Okay.
So Lloyd, what kind of CoCo computers or what kind of Tandy computers do you have?
I've got a 102, which is kind of a laptop-y thing, and then I've got a CoCo 2 with I've got the sidecar expansion, the multi-pack. I've got a CoCoFEST, and yeah, that's it. And then I'll comment on the TI. I've got an old time. No, this is not a TI thing, but I've got a 9948 that's kind of. I've got a Tippy and some other stuff in it. So
there you go.
And some Commodores and some Apples and all kinds of stuff that my wife says is junk, and I say it's good stuff. So it's all good.
Impressive.
I know how that is.
Jim Brain, I've got to ask you, that computer you just stuck up in the air. What is that? It reminds me of a Sinclair, the C88.
He was talking about a Tandy 102, and this is, Lloyd, I believe this looks a lot like your 102, right?
Let's see, I'm looking, I don't see it. Oh yeah, that looks is that a 100 or 102? Looks like a 102.
This is a one, yeah, this is a 100. So this is the first year, the non-cost reduced, unit, which I believe is, I'm going to get this wrong, but Tandy didn't make this machine per se. They the Radio
Rebranded it,
Shack
basically.
they branded. I think it's a Kyocera machine. And then of course they put the Radio Shack branding on the top here and stuff like that. And then there was, like Lloyd mentions, there was a slightly thinner machine that looked almost identical to this. That was the 102. And then somewhere over,
I think the
102
was the last that had actual Bill Gates code in it. I think that's true.
I think it was. I think you're right. I think you're right. And then there's this machine, which I got a number of years ago and I haven't done anything with, which was the next iteration after the 102. This is the 200, which is and it was this one's more of a laptop style with the foldable case. But
what did the 102 save to? When you did your saves, what did it save it to?
It saved to, there was a battery backed up RAM in the unit. And then if you needed to save, so a lot of folks would use the RS-232 port, which is right here. Oh, hey, Fred's outside and we're going to see the Rocky Mountains, I think. We should spotlight.
Not sure how well they come out in this video, but they're back there somewhere.
That looks more like San Francisco from this side.
There we go.
Yeah, it's kind of a cloudy, overcast day here right now. So, but
I see the Rocky Mountain housetops.
That's right. Woo, look at that. Fred is not in a Popperville. He is in. He's got some serious digs there.
Well, the house across the street from me is pretty big. It's the biggest house in the neighborhood. The others, are more modest in size, as is mine.
Cute.
Hey, Jim, the reason I asked is
that is absolutely gorgeous.
That machine looked like the Sinclair Z88. It saved to EEPROMs.
Yep.
Okay, and therefore they never lost any data. You couldn't lose data saving to a EEPROM.
Yeah, this one doesn't save to EEPROM, but it does save to battery-backed RAM, and the RAM would last for Lloyd. I don't know. You can tell me, but it's lasted for weeks for me, just being stored on here.
Gosh,
so
yeah,
only weeks.
And you have a switch to turn it on and off, and to turn the power to the RAM. But I mean, I know some 4 AA batteries, it's unreal.
It's like a month or something, isn't it? I remember.
Yeah, it's a long time. It's a long time for the. I think it's like a month. But to your point, Bob, it has 2 batteries in it. So it has the 4 AA batteries on the back right here. And then it's got a coin cell battery somewhere else. I forget where, or no, this is where the batteries are. So they're right here. This is where the batteries go. And then it's got a coin cell battery somewhere else. And so what you would do is, when it also has a way to plug it in. So it's got a plug in right here on this side. But if you did need to change the batteries, you can take the batteries out and the coin cell will keep the RAM backed up for a while. And so you can swap out the batteries. But if you did want to save it to something else, it's got this RS-232 port on the back. And then some people bought, and I got one right here, Radio Shack sold, hold on here a second. Radio Shack sold this little 3.5-inch portable disk drive that you could, let me see if I can get it right there. There it is. So they sold this little 3.5-inch portable disk drive that you could connect to your computer or to the Model 100, and you could save your stuff off onto this. It was a 180K unit, and it uses 4 AA batteries as well. So
is that the one that has the video interface with it as well, Jim, or is that a different one?
No. The video interface, and I've got one of those set up here, but it's hard to. I don't know if I can. It's kind of buried at the moment. It's back there.
Yeah, because I had a disk drive and the video.
That's true, and I think, I guess you could see it right here. But on I'll move stuff just real quick here, and then you can see. But
That's a pretty big unit there for your Model 100.
yeah.
Oh my
Well,
God.
Okay, here.
That's a
Hey,
Sinclair
here is-
started up using Z80 microprocessors. Then they came up before Macintosh came out with a 68,000. And when they developed the Z88, they went back to the Z80. And they asked Clive, why? Why didn't you continue with the 68,000? He says, for a word processor, a spreadsheet, and a database, you don't need anything more than a Z80. Matter of fact, he says, I used it only because I couldn't find a 4-bit processor I like better.
well, yeah, Clive was all about saving money.
Oh,
Anyway,
yes.
right there, Curtis, if you can
Yeah, that's
see,
the one.
right there that's the disk video interface. That one's got 2 drives in it, but that was not a portable unit. That was more
No.
if you wanted to, and then of course you had to put a TV on top of it. It has a composite output. But
The little 102 has a built-in modem also, and mine came with a built-in modem and the breakout cable that goes to just to an RJ11 jack for your phone, and then it also came with a cable which is exactly the same cable for the CoCo 2 or 3 or 1 for cassette, so it's identical. I think it's great.
yeah, I think
I remember.
you're right. I think there was a cassette interface. I think I have one of the cassette interfaces around here as well.
And it works good. It's actually not near as picky as far as having to fumble with the tone and the volume on the cassette player.
Yep.
As the CoCo seems a little bit more temperamental to that. But then again, I've also found that I've had better luck. Longest I had I think it's the 82. I can't remember which model it is. The Radio Shack computer recorder, but I have a GE, just a straight GE computer cassette recorder, and it does a lot better job, I think, than the Radio Shack one does in some ways. But I still use the Radio Shack one because I like to keep everything together. I'm a little OCD like that.
Got it.
I think the GE worked good because the audio response when you first hit it with audio didn't cause the input to bounce up and down. It
Fred,
was
what's the temperature?
quick. Fred, what's the temperature?
Where I am?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I don't know, 65 or something like that.
Not bad.
Wow.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm outside in a t-shirt and I'm pretty comfortable, so
Wanted to say hi to Tony
Like in the
Pedraza.
80s here.
I saw you join in, and then John. I'm gonna mess up your last name. I don't know if it's Mazur or Mazer, and then Jay White, Michael Krashini. Probably messed that up as well. Sheshini, sorry.
Thanks.
And Ken. Ken, I actually don't know how to say your last name, so I'm not even going to try.
Me
Can
either.
you tell me?
Reichard. It's amazingly similar to Jason's last name.
I know, it is amazing. Wonder how that happened.
surprised no one's asked me yet how to pronounce my last name. People usually get it wrong.
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't even going to try. Maybe you should tell us.
It's Provancha. Provancha.
Provancha. Okay.
Provancha.
Yep.
Mine's super easy to pronounce, but yet people still screw it up. It's one syllable. It only has 5 letters, and I still, is Mr. Brian there? Excuse me, Mr. Brian.
That's why I identify people with dyslexia.
That's right.
People have a hard
Gentlemen,
time
I gotta run in
accepting
here.
that there is a last name that's pronounced like someone's part of an family.
Yeah, people often ask me, is your name Italian? What's the, nationality or, origin of your name? And I guess to the surprise of some people, actually it originally was French Canadian.
Oh, okay.
So my ancestors came down from Quebec about 150 years ago and settled in upstate New York, but after they came down, the spelling and pronunciation changed, so it doesn't look French anymore.
It's like Jack Kerouac.
Originally, it was like Provencher or something like that. So, if any of you have spent time like in Quebec, I don't know, but there's quite a few Provenchers up in Quebec, and they're distantly related to me.
And where are they from?
New York.
France, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, upstate New York. That's where my father's family is from.
Rochester?
The Adirondack region.
Oh.
Yeah.
I used to live in Rochester myself.
Rochester. Okay, yeah, that's like Western. Yeah. Been to Rochester.
My 11th great-grandfather came from England. His name was William Brewster. And in 1620, he come over on the Mayflower. And that's why we finally got here. And that's a few, like 150 years before this was the United States.
You were early.
Yeah, we hadn't been.
Yeah, well, different branches of my family go back different ways too. I mean, I think I have some Mayflower ancestors too somewhere, like my father's mother's side or something.
Hey, that's cool, cousin.
I think one of my relatives may have used the Mayflower Moving Company at one point. So
I hope the stuff got to its destination.
No, just don't move to Texas if don't want your name messed up.
What happens when you move to Texas?
Well, we believe my family's last name was Lalonde, and it was changed with a U, and then we moved to Texas, and so it became Uland. Just like my grandparents' side of the family was the DeBerries, and I didn't realize for many years that was the DeBerries that you read about all the time. So,
wow. Okay.
I say, don't move to Texas if you want people to know how to pronounce your name, because it ain't going to be that way anymore.
I believe they actually had
Hey guys.
a dictionary so that people in New York could talk to Texans.
Makes sense.
There'd be words in there like far, okay? F-A-R. It means to shoot or discharge a fire iron. Fire iron, yeah. In other words, halt, or all far.
Boy, were you telling us something? Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm fixing to have to. I've got to jump into something else here, and I'm glad to have met you guys, and I look forward to meeting y'all seeing y'all the next meeting, and I look forward to hopefully making a bunch of friends and building a bunch of great relationships. So be looking for those emails and that newsletters. But thank you so much for letting me join you guys this evening. I'm excited. All right.
No problem.
God bless y'all.
Take care.
See y'all next
See ya.
time. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh. Well, cool. Okay.
So how many of you people have more than one PC or Tandy computer set up?
Oh,
I have 13.
I'll start with myself. I have zero. I have zero. My wife has reduced me in space so much that I run off a IBM type laptop with VCC, the emulator. That's how I've been working for a bunch of years now.
Time for a new wife?
That'll fix the problem.
I wouldn't be alive if I lost her.
Oh.
I would assume that either,
but two of them are dead. So yeah.
I would assume that there's.
The doctors whispered in her ear and said 3 years ago that I wouldn't make it to my birthday. I'm going to celebrate the third one here in July.
That's good. Cool.
All right, who has more than two up? Yeah, up and running, or able to turn on.
Oh,
Yep.
I got
Hey, Ron.
I do too.
two
Hey.
Coco 3s, three Coco 2s, and one Model 100 and the Model 102 all running.
Oh boy, I hope you're in a big house. I've got 1,100 square feet with no basement or attic, so that's my problem here.
The Coco 2s, they actually sit on top of each other.
Oh, all right.
Who has the original Coco from when they originally bought it back in the 80s?
I wish I did.
I have my
everyone on,
original MPI.
I have my
I have
original.
my original MC10.
Matt,
I have that too.
I have my original Dungeons of Daggerath cartridge.
My MC10 was my first computer.
I'll have to check. I'm not sure if I have my original Coco 2. If I do, it's stashed away somewhere in a storage box somewhere. Yeah, my first Coco was a Coco 16K Coco 2 in 1983.
Is it gray? It's gray?
No.
No, Coco 2? No, it was white.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
it's Coco 2. Okay.
My first
January
Coco 1 was
1980.
128K.
Those Coco ones with low serial numbers go pretty good at the CoCoFEST.
Yep. So, Ron, just so I'm clear, you said you had a Coco what with 128K?
I had a Coco 1 that I first bought for $300. It had a upgrade 128K the easy way. It was a kit put on so that you could do bank switching with the RAM.
I remember that.
Excellent.
I remember looking that up
Remember
the
that?
other day. I do
Yep.
now.
Yeah,
I
so
still got the case. Oh, go ahead.
Yep. It had a.
I think it did both bank switching and page switching.
It had a Mark Data keyboard, and I got another computer just like it. So I don't have my original, but I have one that looks the same, and I have the same MPI. So it has the
I
old
still got
feeling.
the case of mine.
Yeah, I was so poor. All the machines I bought were resold and upgraded to get bigger and better ones. So I have my old DMP 105 still.
I've got a gray one here that's 4,267 for its serial number. That seems nice and low.
I have a 00016.
Oh.
But everybody says that it doesn't make any difference because they restart it over and over. So it's probably not that old.
I assume Lee Veal still has his original 0001 one that he showed off at the fest years back.
Oh, hey, Curtis.
Hey. Yeah, I don't have my original Coco. I had a 4K D-board Coco 1 I bought in 1981, but when I moved to an apartment in 1989, it didn't survive the move. Some stuff in the moving truck fell off, and it got crushed, and the motherboard was cracked, and everything else. Well, by that time I had a Coco 3, so I just stuck with it.
That's what happened to my. That's what happened to my 8CM 515 Magnavox monitor. It didn't survive a trip across the country. It got smashed pretty
My
bad.
monitor did survive. I have that exact same model. That's still working in the other room. So
I was really sad when that monitor hit the dust. That was a nice monitor.
Back in the day, those were premium.
Yeah.
What was everyone's first monitor for the Coco?
Cape Heart
DMA.
Our living room TV set.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, that's
30-inch wood grain
color
floor
TV.
model TV set. That was mine.
I had the
GE
12-inch
TV.
Amdeck Amber with the window screen glued by the factory over the tube to make it higher contrast.
Oh, mesh or something.
Yeah, don't ever try to clean one of those.
Yeah, I wondered what I have one of those, and it has like a screen over the front of it, and I always wondered what that was.
Yeah, it's to cut
Black
down
windows.
glare.
Let's
and
just cut it off with the razor
contrast.
blade.
That's nuts.
Mr. Dave, you had your hand raised too, I think.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, I just wanted to drop by, say hi to everyone.
Hey there.
Make a brief appearance. Hey, Alan.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What was
I've
your
been
first?
remiss on.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to
I was
ask
gonna
Dave
say-
what his first cocoa was.
Oh, I had Coco 2 16K, and I think by the end of the weekend I had the memory full with my first program on it.
Cool.
And I
John,
went a long time on a mini black and white TV from Sears until I got the big floor model wood cabinet like Curtis.
How many have typed in a program and somebody turned it off for you, or you accidentally turned it off?
Several times.
And then what's really cool is you turn it back on thinking it would still be there. Like,
No, I didn't know. I didn't think that. I knew it was gone.
Well, yeah, and then in the MC10 you have the RAM pack wobble to blame for that.
Oh yeah. The Timex Sinclair did the same thing. It has those big bulky packs that sit out the back.
Mm-hmm.
My ex.
And there was a secret for those. The secret to running those things is you had to have mineral oil on the connector, and then you wouldn't lose your data. But though I put it in magazines, not enough people read about it. That's what we used at Motorola for our radios. Because we had plug-in boards.
My ex-wife used to turn mine off and I'd lose my programs. That's why she's my ex.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I still lose work sometimes though. I mean, in fact, just yesterday I was working on this program, and I was using the SDC to store it on an SD card, and I swapped that into my laptop and then swapped it back, and I don't know what happened, but somehow the file got corrupted and lost like a week's worth of work. So
you didn't eject.
Still happens. Yeah, still happens. I still lose work sometimes.
how many people have backups of their SD card?
I should.
I do. I got 4.
Nope.
Very good. Well,
I try
have
to
one report.
Usually, but you forget sometimes.
I learned from the Chicago. What was he? Chicago mayor to save early and save often. Of course, instead of saving, they talk votes.
Vote early and vote often.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, if you finish your work,
ahead.
Guillaume Major will save it for you.
There you go.
Right.
Never look
Wanted
at
to
a
say
good
hi
crisis
to-
go to waste.
Say hi to Mark Bosley, who's joined, John Cornwell, somebody on the phone with a 408 area code, and Jim Mazurek. Thanks for showing up.
408, that's out here, isn't it? In Arizona?
Don't know. Got me.
No, that's 480.
Oh, it's 480, yeah.
I see a Jay White. Jay White, are you
That's
a member?
me. No,
Are
I'm
you
not.
a member? Oh,
No, I'm not.
report right into Jim Brain right now. Got it, Jim?
Yeah, I was gonna say if you want to join our mailing list, I announced this earlier, but since we've got a new crop of folks, if you could put your name, and actually your name already in there, but if you could put your email address in the chat window, we'll get you signed up for the newsletter and the notices on our meetings.
I joined
I have
the
been.
free
Yeah, I
Cocoa
guess I am
free.
signed up. I didn't know if there was like dues involved or any of that.
Well, we
no,
sure
I
would
get the
love for you
newsletter.
to. We sure would love for you to put some money in the hopper from a dues perspective. But yes, if you're getting the newsletter, then you're on our list.
You wouldn't want Canadian money anyway.
Well, what's the exchange rate right now?
About 80 cents American for $1 Canadian right now.
So
I think it's 1 Big Mac to 10 Tim Hortons.
Now I know who's on. Now I know who's on the phone. A couple years ago, so every few years, I go up to. There's a show in Toronto. Actually, it's in Mississauga. It's in December, and I go up to
Enjoy the weather.
Yeah, enjoy the winter. And yeah, I don't know why they put it in December, but anyway, it's in December. And by the way, people in Toronto don't appear to know how to drive in the snow, but that's a story for another time. Anyway, so I get up there and I set up all my stuff, and I'm just this kind of dumb redneck from the Midwest. And so I've sold stuff for the entire first day. So Saturday I'm selling lots of stuff and everything. I get to the to the end of the day, and I went back to the hotel room, and I'm kind of counting up the Canadian money, which by the way is very colorful. Okay, kudos for the money in Canada. That's awesome stuff, right? And I'm counting up, and I'm kind of counting up and figuring stuff out. And then I just happened to think about the fact that the Canadian the exchange rate is not 1-to-1. And so for the entire day, I had listed all my stuff at U.S. dollar prices, but not as I'd listed them as like $5, but not converted. So people had paid $5 Canadian for something, so they'd gotten it for like $3.50 U.S. So I was like, oh, criminy. So obviously,
can you do that at CoCoFEST? I'd like to buy some more of your stuff
too. I know. I was gonna say. I go up there and if you get me to forget, and then you'll get stuff really cheap.
40% discount for all Canadians.
Something like that happened to me too about 25 years ago. I actually visited Toronto, and I went to a restaurant, and for whatever reason, not sure why, they didn't do any currency conversion, so everything was 1-to-1. So I paid for the meal in American dollars because, like an idiot, I didn't bring Canadian money with me. And I lost money on that transaction. And then they gave me change back in Canadian money, which I lost money on that side of the transaction too. And so I was the meal cost like 3 times what it should have cost.
but now you have collectible coins though, right?
Oh yeah, I actually have a decent amount of Canadian currency in my coin collection. So yeah, it's nice. It looks pretty. Yeah.
It also depends on when you came up, too, because there was there was a time in the 70s, and there was another time just about 10, 15 years ago where the Canadian dollar was actually worth more than the American for about a year, too. So it can go both ways.
To this day, if you find something on eBay, if you're selling something on eBay and you find one already there and you click sell similar, and that thing came from Canada, eBay takes the money in Canadian dollars. It doesn't convert it, so you put your U.S. price and no, it's Canadian dollars. And then when you see the listing, they have converted it to American money, then U.S. dollars. And so now the price is much lower than what you typed in when you put it up for sale. I've caught that recently.
Yeah, I just made a trip to Montreal a couple of years ago, and so that replenished my my supply of Canadian money collection.
I live in Arizona now, and I used to live in Rochester, New York. And in Rochester, you'd be walking around and see money on the ground, pick it up, and it would be a Canadian on occasion.
Unfortunately, we ran out of Red Bull.
In Arizona, you don't find that.
Yeah, I went to college in Vermont, so I would occasionally get Canadian coins and change, whenever I bought something in Vermont.
Sorry, Ed. I had to mute you, Ed, because you got a lot of background noise, like somebody's watching a movie in the background or something. So, I think I accidentally thought that was Bob, so I unmuted you, Bob.
Right.
Yeah. Well, if you'd have been up, and I think that was like 2016. So, unfortunately, in 2016 or whatever, the Canadian exchange rate with the U.S. was not 1-to-1. So there were some very happy customers.
That was probably was at about 75 cents, like about $1.30, $1.35 to the dollar.
That's right.
Now it's down to $1.24, I think, right now. So
anymore, I'm a little wiser when I get set up for the show up there. When I go, I always have to we'll figure out what the exchange rate is, and then the problem is you don't want to end up with a bunch of well, for one, Canada doesn't do pennies, and for another, you don't want a bunch of change in your pocket, and so then you got to do all this hand manipulation because you you sell something for $10 and it ends up like, $12, and well, 12's okay, but it was like $12.40. Yeah, and that toonies and loonies are okay, but you don't want to get like 10 cents and quarters and all that. So then you got to kind of work the numbers a little bit so you don't end up with all that change, because they won't take it at the like they'll take loonies and toonies at when you go back across the border at the duty free shop or wherever you want to exchange your money, but they won't take change. So if you give all you can give them is dollar increments, they won't take anything less than that.
Or you could use a debit or a credit card and bypass cash altogether.
That's what I usually do.
Well, that's true. I mean, when I'm buying stuff, but when I'm selling, most people it's cash heavy when you go to the show. So a lot of people are paying in Canadian, dollars and coins and stuff like that. So,
well, if your cash is too heavy at the show, if you want to like dump it off on somebody, I'll volunteer.
Oh yeah, of course. I'll be
I'm
sure
here
to
to help
give
you
a
out,
call. I know. Thank you. You're so altruistic.
You can get rid of your coins in our vending machines. Don't worry.
Oh, excellent.
I do want to tell you a story because you guys, and sorry to monopolize, but I think you guys will find it funny. So, like I said, I go to Canada every so often, and so I went up to Canada. This would have been in 2018, I believe. So I went up to Canada in 2018, and I've been up to Canada for a number of times, and so I'm reasonably comfortable. Canada, or at least Toronto, is reasonably a lot like, the like Chicago or whatever. So I'm as long as it doesn't get too weird, then I'm okay with dealing with stuff. And so I go to eat some dinner around this. It's in Mississauga, and I go to eat dinner, and then I decide that I need to get some man food to have in my stash for when I'm at the show the next day. And so I go to, I think it's Publix. Is that the right grocery store chain in or what's the big grocery store chain in the Toronto or the Ontario area? Does anybody know?
No, it's up my
Publix is in Florida.
Oh, that's all right. It must not be Publix. Well, anyway, so it's right next to a Canadian Tire, which I think is interesting because Canadian Tire didn't look like they sold anything related to tires at all in that entire store. But
yeah, that's pretty well true.
Yeah. So anyway, I go into this store, and first of all, I'm having a hard time finding out how to get into the store because all of the places to walk in seem to be closed. But I finally found a way to get into the store, and I go around and I'm trying to find stuff to buy, and I'm having trouble. Evidently, nobody in Canada drinks sweet tea, so there's like no chance to get sweet tea up in Canada. So that just doesn't happen. And then I was having trouble finding.
You mean iced tea, or what do you mean
iced tea?
That's a southern thing.
Sweet tea is iced tea with sugar already in it.
Oh, we do that. We also have lemon, though. It's kind of mandatory to have lemon in there, too.
Lemon, blah, blah, blah. I don't want lemonade. I want tea.
You want cold tea is what you want, not
I want
iced tea.
cold tea already with sweet with
That's
sugar
a sin against nature and God.
You just need to drink overpowered beer like the rest of us Canucks. That's right.
So anyway, and of course, and I was trying to find some milk, but they had real trouble finding milk in an actual container. All of you, evidently, you all just want yours in bags, so that was kind of interesting.
That must be a Toronto thing. We don't do that here.
Yeah. So anyway, I get all done, and I've got my little stash of snackies, and I'm going to the checkout. And it's late at night. It's probably, I don't know, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night or something. And so there's not a lot of registers open, but there's one register open with a person at it, so an actual human being at the register. And I'm going to go to that register because I'm thinking, first of all, I've got all these pieces of money, and I do tend to get a little bit, panicky because you guys have, loonies and toonies, and so I just wanted to hand my big wad of money to somebody and say, figure it out and give me what I need back, and that was the way it was going to play out. But then the lady who's standing in front of the register trying to be so helpful, she says, "Sir, we have a self-checkout line right next to where you are. You don't have to walk all the way," because it was like this. I was like near checkout line 18, and she's over in checkout line 1, and so she thinks she's trying to help me and having to not have to walk all the way from checkout lane 18 to 1. So she says, checkout lane 18 is self-service, and you can just go through the self-service. And I so desperately did not want to choose the self-service because it's part enough to, and I didn't want to use credit card because I wanted to Fred, to your point, I wanted to get rid of some of my Canadian money so I wouldn't have to wouldn't have to exchange it back. So I really wanted to use the cash. And I didn't know where you would put a loonie or toonie. You know, in the U.S., everything is a dollar bill, so you just stuff it in the little slot. But there's like 6 slots in the self-service checkout thing in Canada, and I didn't know which one to use. And so I was like, you know what? I want to just give it to this lady, but she really wanted me to use this self-checkout line. So she got this person who was evidently walking behind me, and she's like, "Oh, Frank, who's evidently cleaning the floors. Frank, why don't you help him?" With the self-checkout, like I'm an idiot and I can't use self-checkout lines. And so I go up there and he's like, he thinks I'm a total imbecile. And so he's like, well, it's 1804. And I'm like, oh, criminy. It's 04. It would be 04. And so I don't even know what to do with the 04. I think I'm supposed to put a nickel in, but I don't know. And so I end up handing my money to him, who then feeds it into the correct slot in this self-checkout thing. And then at the end, of course, as I forgot, because all of Canada evidently wants to be, which is fine, to be environmentally conscious, but he's like, do you want a bag? Do you want a plastic bag? And I'm like, yes, I do want a plastic. Well, that's 10 cents or something. You got to pay extra for a plastic bag. So they had to add that on to the thing. And so in the end, I just felt like I was the stupidest American ever because I could not figure out how to use this self-checkout thing. And it would have been fine if the lady would have just taken my money. I would have been able to squeak by as just a, like a nominal Canadian, like a Canadian.
What forced you on that?
Faux Canadian.
You don't have rounding either, with the pennies and stuff.
And when you walked out, they looked at each other and said, "Dumb American."
I know. I was like, that's the thing. When we go up there, the goal, in my goal anyway, is just to blend. It's like, you know what? I look like you guys look, and I dress like you guys dress. So if I could just figure out this money thing, then I can act like you guys act. And until we get to poutine, we'll be good, right?
Poutine's the best part.
Say your name.
Well, yeah, but you got a lot of transplants. They got a lot of transplants, so.
I like the poutine. I tried some. I like the poutine. I tried some when I was in Montreal a couple of years ago. It was really good. I enjoyed it.
Did it have real cheese curds, or was it like?
Yeah, I think so. It looked like it was pretty legit to me. Yeah.
Not the healthiest thing in the world, but hey.
Not at all. Yeah.
You guys and your gravy, though. I mean, everything. Every time we went,
everywhere we went,
they wanted. I know.
Gravy's good. I like gravy.
Like, wow. This is gravy, and everything gets doused in gravy. So, and so you all have, standardized health care. Okay.
Now you know why.
Beaver gravy.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point, basically.
It's the Gravy Protection Agency. Yeah.
Was it Isaac Newton that invented gravy?
It's still better than Vegemite, so.
The question is, does gravy go with Saskatoon berries?
You got to blame the British then, right? Isaac Newton was British.
Does gravy go with Saskatoon berries?
Oh, but not at the same time. That'd be 2 separate parts of the meal.
We went every year. Then we go up there. Everybody wants to take all of us that are not from Canada to a place called Swiss Chalet, which evidently is some chain restaurant in Canada. And so I don't know if
they have some in northern New England too.
Oh, really? Okay. I don't know if that's good or bad or what.
It's not bad. It's not exactly what I call super high class or anything, but it's a step above the regular fast food restaurants. It's I don't know, how would I describe it?
What are we talking about?
Slightly more upscale than a Fuddruckers or something.
Swiss Chalet.
Oh,
Swiss Chalet. That's
Saint Hubert. Saint Hubert is better.
Like an Applebee's or something.
Yeah, probably close to that line. Yeah.
I have to jump in here. Unfortunately, my kids need something to eat, so I need to make some dinner for them. So I got to drop off here for a while.
Looks like the clouds lifted though, and we can see behind you. So,
well,
just order pizza.
They're thinning a bit to the east there, yeah. But yeah, I'll have to drop off here for a while. Nice talking to you guys, and maybe I'll catch you later.
Yeah.
Just order
Talk to you
pizza.
later. Just pizza. Everything's better. Pizza.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. If I can, I'll be back in a little while. All right. Talk to you in a bit.
See ya.
Later.
See ya.
Thanks.
What I found neat is that he had skies still left. I mean, we're completely in black with stars at this end of the
Well, yeah.
time zone.
It's only 6 o'clock there. No wonder the kids they're probably like, Dad, we wanted to eat at 5. It's already been an hour.
Where is he located?
He's in Colorado, I believe. Or I guess I don't know exactly where it is, but that was the Smokies behind, so it would be, somewhere in Pacific time, I assume.
Well, if it's Colorado,
like
that'd
here,
be
seven, we're
Mountain
further up
Time.
north.
I'm in the Eastern time zone, and it just got dark here when I was on my way home. So he's got to be in Central. If it's because it
10 o'clock at
just
night
got
here.
dark here.
No, I'm in Central and it's dark. So you must be having a great day because I'm in Iowa and it's been dark for 30 minutes. So
Yeah, the sun's going
What
down
part of
in
Iowa?
the Pacific here.
What part of Iowa are you in?
I'm in the southeast corner of Iowa, so right on the Mississippi River, just about 45 minutes away from the Illinois, or 45 minutes away from the Quad Cities, which is probably a big, that's like a eastern.
I've been there actually.
Landmark.
I spent some time in a hotel in Bettendorf.
Yeah,
The corn
okay,
grows
well,
as high as an elephant's eye.
There you go.
Yeah, I had a job there. I used to travel in my work, and I found myself in the Quad Cities at one point. No, it was a nice area. It's a nice area.
It is. Iowa, though, is mostly a flyover state, so that's fine. You guys can all fly
that's
over
fine
us.
with me.
Hey, John Laurie, I got a question
riff raff
for
us.
you.
Yes,
John
sir.
Laurie.
Yes.
John, you got 2 email addresses. Do you mind that we send to both of them? We're looking for an opinion here. It means nothing.
Yeah, you can send. I'm not sure which one you got, which ones you've got, but yeah, fire away. I'm
Okay,
actually
that
only
was
using
for
one
Jim
right now.
Crane.
Yeah, I heard.
Your
I heard.
what? Okay.
Which addresses do you have?
Well, I turned away from that screen, but
I think Jim's looking it up.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
look it up here real quick. Give me a
Ron
second.
can look it up on his terminal, on his CoCo terminal.
There you go. Look it up, Ron.
Yeah, he's got that BBSing thing down pat.
There you go.
who does?
Ron, weren't you showing us some packet BBS stuff about a month and maybe 2 months ago?
You mean doing WeFax?
The shortwave packet stuff.
Yeah, it's WeFax.
Is that what they call that?
WeatherFax stuff, yeah.
Yeah. I remember you had the maps and everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was pretty.
Don, your primary is set to be your iCloud account, and your backup is a Gmail account with looks like a date in it. So.
Yeah, I haven't used the Gmail in a while, so if you want to send can you edit that, or should I edit it, or?
Nope. I can actually edit it right now if you want to just put in chat what you want it to be, and I'll just dump the new version in.
Well, the iCloud. Oh, you mean for the backup?
Yeah, or I can just delete it. Your choice.
Yeah, just delete it because I pretty much do everything through iCloud, and that's about it.
Nope, that's fine. Consider it gone. It's out of here.
Way to go,
John saving
John.
server space for Glenside there.
These days, it doesn't seem to make any difference.
Oh,
my computer guy, my hardware guy, put a half a terabyte into my laptop, solid state, and I got to say, it is fast.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference switching from a real hard drive to a solid state drive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
mechanical
speaking
hard
of
drives
the
days are
newsletter,
numbered.
Anybody read my article in the newsletter?
Who's asking?
I would have at the time it came out. I'm just trying to remember which one that was.
I'm Allison. I wrote the one about graphic math.
Oh,
Yeah,
like using
yeah.
sine and
Oh.
cosine and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, cosine and using Pythagorean theorem to find a distance.
Yeah, that sounded too
Didn't
much like
I,
homework to me, so I skipped it. No, I'm just kidding.
did you notice? Did you notice that when after I read your stuff, got them to put in the Papoose theorem. Did you see that?
A papoose?
The Papoose theorem. It's in the newsletter. It's right after your
hang on.
article.
Oh, let me check it out.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
I mean, it's really hard to get past my own article. Let's see, where did I put this thing?
Hey, if you would please, we've been looking for you. Please go into the chat and pass on to Jim Brain what your email address is. We do not have it.
The one we had didn't seem to work, so it bounced. So
Yeah, so we want your real email address, if you will, please.
You're talking to me, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Allison.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure, absolutely. Jim Brain, huh? Is that over on?
But you can put it right in the meeting chat. You can put it right in a meeting chat.
Oh, I'm on voice on phone.
Oh, that's right. You are. So you can't. You're right.
Just text it over on a T9 keyboard.
Jeez. Yeah, really. Come
I'm pretty
on.
good with I'm handy with the computer, but I ain't that handy.
That's funny. Well, if you can email it some
don't
point
mind,
or something.
If you don't mind saying it, give it to Jim right over the radio here.
Oh yeah, that's easy. Just DENU5@comcast.net. That'll get to me.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And for that, I'll read it for you. The chief had 3 wives. The first wife slept on the hide of an elk. She gave birth. She gave birth to a papoose. The second one slept on a bear hide and gave birth to a papoose. The third one slept on the hide of a hippopotamus and gave birth to twins. You got it?
Oh yeah, I have heard.
So the papoose theorem is that the squaw on the hide of the hippopotamus is equal to the sum of the squaws on the other 2 hides.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, that is as good as Sam Clam's disco any day.
Okay.
There went about I left my heart in Sam Clam's disco. No, never mind.
Got to be clean.
Yeah, I can't. Let's see.
I taught ham radio for 13 years, and when I gave that to the kids, all their math grades went up.
Oh, nice.
Nice to meet you, Allison.
It is nice to meet you, too.
My kids figured out that if I did not help them with their homework, they had better grades.
Oh. Well, they actually called me in to compliment me and wondered how I did it. And I did it simply by listening to the kids. The kids, one of them out there, of the 13 you might have, will give you gold every week.
Nice.
Well, cool. David Davidson, welcome. And Jim's name has changed magically to Jim White's name has changed magically to someone else, so that's kind of interesting. Christina.
Jim's on the line.
Huh? Yeah, I know. This is Jim White. I think.
Oh, Jason White. That's me. Yeah, my phone died. I had to I had to get onto my wife's laptop. My phone died.
Oh, okay. Well, it must be your wife's phone.
No, new laptop.
God,
The other device I got with a camera in it.
Hey, Jim, Jerry, I got a question for you.
Jim who? We got Jim. Jim Gary. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Gary. It's a curse.
There's Jim, and then there's Gary, and then there's Jim Gary.
Jim Gary.
Yeah, that's right.
Jim, do you have all of the stuff that you've written in one package that you've like either sent to the archive or that's available for download somewhere? Or does it all have to be kind of divvied up into like 4K, 20K, and so on?
I pretty much maintain a distro of all of the software for the MC10 on my faculty site, and I've been doing it for a number of years.
So there is a place to go to download?
That has everything in emulator format, yeah. And I also have all of my files as WAV files in another on a Google space that's open for everyone.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I can put those links in the chat for you if you want.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
No trouble.
Well, this is a worthwhile evening.
It is.
Okay.
Just checking in on the comments on the Facebook. Looks like once I got the sound figured out, everything looks to have quieted down. Oh. Yay for that.
Mark, what was in the bag you held up?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
All my Canadian currency.
Oh.
Which one's the one that's got the poppy in the middle of the flower in the middle of the coin?
The toonie?
Canadian. Is that the toonie that has?
Yeah,
it doesn't always.
It's kind of a special edition toonie.
That's a special edition.
Yeah. Because the
we have a lot
toonie
of
is the one that
coins.
has.
They keep changing, like the images and stuff here to make them more collectible. So.
Got it.
We also have the toonies are two-tone too, so it's silver and gold color.
Then I have one of those.
Yeah.
It looks like $1 with a penny shoved in the middle.
That's right. That's right. You're right.
Except it's more gold and brass colored, I think.
I think there was one since I don't know, since I got you guys here. I think there was. We get information on the different coins that you can get from Canada, and I think there was one that my wife was interested in getting. It was a really cool. I don't know. It was just a cool thing. I don't see it right now, but if I see it, I should probably send it to one of you and see if you can get me one of them. It was a special commemorative Canadian coin or whatever that was going to be in circulation for a little bit of time. Because you change your money all the time, it seems like. It seems like every time I go up there, you've got something new. I came up and there was, is your money still? It's all different colors. It's still got a kind of a clear plastic middle or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's part of the newer security plastic bills.
Yeah, well, our bills here in the United States have been changing a lot. They said they've been doing it to kind of thwart
counterfeiting.
Counterfeiting, yeah.
That's the same reason we went to the plastic ones. So.
Guys talking about a loony and a toonie. What the hell is a loony and a toonie? That sounds like a cartoon.
Yeah, a loony is a $1 Canadian coin because Canada doesn't have a $1 paper bill, and a toonie is a $2 Canadian coin because they don't have $2 bills either. Did you ever have $2 bills? Did Canada?
They were actually quite common there. I've actually got a collection of them in a different room here, ones and twos. Actually, we used to have both.
So for cost reasons, they eliminated.
And why did they get rid of $1 and $2 bills?
Oh, well, basically because the cost of making a $1 or $2 bill, and the old paper bills only used to last maybe 8 months, 9 months in circulation before they get some wreck and the bankers throw them out. Coins last for decades, so it's just so much cheaper to do it.
True.
If you had $2 bills from say 100 years ago, a stack of worth about 200 then is still worth 200 today.
Correct.
Up until very recently, yes. Now that they're trying to get them out of circulation, they're actually making them basically zero value as far as the bank is concerned. But if you're into collecting as a collector, then they're actually worth more than $2 or $1 anyway. So keep them for that reason.
How can they do
don't
that?
Keep them as currency.
I don't
know.
understand how they can
That was
do
a bit of a
that.
surprise to me because I wasn't expecting that because I had a whole whack load of twos and I had a bunch of the very common twos. And figuring that once they took them out of circulation, that they'd become worth money as collectibles and stuff. And then when they decided that they were going to make it not legal tender anymore for the, as opposed to collectibles, then I turned some of the more common ones in, and I just kept the more rare ones, like the 1954 issues and stuff like that. So
did you get
the
face
latest
value?
Canadian money?
Up to that point, up until they did that, it was the face value. Now you have to sell it as a collector, or it's just paper.
Oh man!
Have you seen the latest Canadian money? It has Martin Short as the Queen.
Martin Short and what?
Martin Short as the Queen. Yeah.
I thought it was Leonard Nimoy as the
who's
Queen.
From Canada knows who Martin Short is, of course. He's basically like the most famous person in Canada, isn't he?
Well, one of them is Jim Carrey, John Candy, Martin Short.
Oh, Jim Carrey. What happened to Jim Carrey? I was just thinking the other day, what the hell happened to that guy?
He's
still
a whack
around.
job now.
Yeah.
What was the last
He started
thing
acting
did?
again recently.
Oh,
he was Doctor. He was Dr. Robotnik in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
That's right. The Sonic movie was the last thing he
Turned
did.
90.
Yeah, Shatner just had his 90th birthday.
Yeah.
And
He wasn't too far
isn't,
behind Christopher Plummer, who they kind of like worked together in the 50s in Montreal.
Isn't the Back to the Future? Isn't
Michael J. Fox?
Yeah,
Lloyd.
isn't he Canadian?
Lloyd is Canadian.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
no,
think
Christopher
he is
Lloyd. I don't
Canadian.
think.
I don't see how they could make a Sonic movie without having Sonic do a nude scene, though. That's just, North America has got this thing going on for Sonic, and I don't know if you've ever
Not at my
delved
house.
into those regions of the internet, but there are some people who have a really unhealthy obsession with that character.
Eric was just putting up his Sonic CD for the Sega, right?
We have a place called
Yeah,
Sonic
I picked up a
Go
Sega
Eat.
CD recently, so I have Sonic CD to play.
What is that rule number again?
34.
34.
That's the one. Just about everything winds up that way. But yes, Sonic and Pikachu are both like, people are just a little too obsessed with those characters.
Whatever happened to Coco the cat or whatever it was? Sort of like
I wanted to mention
mascot?
to Ron that maybe his Taz obsession is just a little bit shady,
Well, I'd like to come up with something similar to him, but the cat has died because its tail was crimped and it got infected, and it killed it.
Oh,
that's sad.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I mean, it's kind of like Bill the Cat from the Opus cartoons. He had a kinked up tail, too. Of course, he was a cocaine addict, but...
Yeah, that cat had a lot of problems.
Wow. Okay. Meanwhile, welcome to Brian, who's joining us from the
Hello, guys.
from the western part of Iowa / eastern part of Nebraska or South Dakota or wherever.
Iowa. Yep.
Iowa.
Yeah, Iowa, where Nebraska and South Dakota meet.
That's right.
3 points.
That's right.
Yep.
I forgot. I wasn't sure which one of the 3 states you lived in. So.
Yep.
Hey guys.
And then Brian, you weren't on the show today, so I'm imagining you're going to have like 5,000 things to show off next week, right?
The pile is growing. Yes. So.
That's right. Somebody was asking. Somebody started with, "Hey guys," I didn't. What was the rest?
Yeah,
of it?
I have a question, a Coco question. I have a
Sure.
color computer 2 over there without a connection to a TV. Can I take a RCA connector that connects to coax and hook it to coax cable, hook it to a TV? Will that work?
Yes.
Yes. It will.
Okay.
It will.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get a
As long as
F
it's on the
connector
right
to
channel.
RCA.
Sounds
In fact,
good.
they still
Thanks.
sell those F connector to RCA adapters.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that's the best
Technically-
way to do RF.
Technically,
Or
They sell them with those
composite.
screw terminals.
Yeah, the output on the output of those that is the RCA connector that probably properly should be one of those coax connectors, but the coax connector, I'm sure, was more expensive. So, boom, RCA connector.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I saw they were like for $5 on Amazon. So.
Guys, it matched up with the RCA connector on the little switch box thingy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to protect that cable going to the TV and make sure it's
shielded,
lead lined.
Yeah, shielded.
But you can.
Yeah,
but you don't.
here's the
but
one
you
I
don't
use.
have. I mean, yeah, you can have the one that Brian has right there on the Coco side.
Yeah, that's what I was going to buy. The exact same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, then you can use a decent coax cable. To
wow, somebody's.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to do.
Somebody's sharing.
Somebody's sharing VCC, so.
I have that too.
Oversharing.
Hey, you don't need that ball-in device to match up the impedances so much. Just wires will do it.
The Coco puts out 75 ohm.
Right, but then they had if you're going to Twin Leads or something, they had the 300
the switch box
ball-in thing, but I just bypassed that and went straight to the Twin
Yeah,
Lead
I mean,
with
that's I'm using a Sega connection like that now. I take it off my Sega game, but I get a lot of distortion, so I wanted to make something better.
So
then there's always that VCR.
Who is sharing VCC right now?
I am, Bob.
Okay, so are you bringing something up, or?
Well, I'm only taking up my
screen,
right? I'm not taking up
sharing to everybody right now.
No, you're sharing to everybody right now.
Yeah, you're filling up the whole screen.
Very good.
Yeah, we see it. It's a black screen.
Okay.
Well, I tried one report.
Share.
Forget sometimes.
I learned from. Well, I'm gonna take it down. This is
no, you're
what
sharing.
I've been working on for many
you're
days.
filling up the whole
Star
screen.
Trek.
Yeah, we see it. It's a black screen.
Oh.
Okay.
Well,
I tried
one report.
Yes, to share.
Forget sometimes.
Okay. I learned from.
I mean, never mind. You guys sharing
I'm
something.
gonna take
Try one report.
Yes, to share.
what I've been working on for many days.
filling
I
up the
learned
whole
from.
Okay, I mean, never mind. You guys sharing something.
I'm gonna take
Try one report.
Yes, to share.
what I've been working on for many days.
filling
I
up the
learned
whole
from.
Okay, I mean, never mind. You guys sharing something.
I'm gonna take
Try one report.
what I've been working on for many days.
That Brian's talking about, and then you go to a coax cable, and you can plug that coax cable directly into the TV. Or if the TV's got that Brian's talking about, and then you go to a coax cable, and you can plug that. You guys talk about, we talk about, sometimes we make fun of our significant others and like they don't understand. And
yeah, I've got a hybrid TV monitor that has 300 ohm flat terminals on it.
About 2 years ago, or maybe about 2.5 years ago or so, there was a Facebook Marketplace ad on our local channel about somebody trying to get rid of a big, huge console TV. So think like, the mahogany or the oak, fake oak, sits on the floor, I don't know, 30 inch or 31 inch or whatever it is. And they said they were going to try to turn it into a fishbowl, and it never got done. And so it was sitting on their porch, and they just wanted it gone for free. So I went and picked it up and had no idea if it worked. And I got it home and plugged it in and kind of sorted things out, and sure enough, it does. It works. And so my wife was laughing about it because she's like, oh, right, what we need is a big console TV in the house. So I put it downstairs, and it's down here in the basement. And then just to show you, kudos to her. The other day, there was another ad that showed up on Facebook for a kind of 80s TV with the plastic fake, wood grain panels and whatnot, those like 25 inches or whatever. And she sent me a note and she says, I don't know if I should tell you this or not, but there's one of those TVs on Facebook, and I think if you want to, you can pick it up so then you can set it on top of your console TV so that you'll be period correct, right? You'll have the TV on top of the TV.
Yeah, because when the consoles went bad, you just use it as a stand for your next TV.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody else is sharing now. Somebody with MC10.
Sorry, I just put up my my MC10 emulator to show you a wood grain TV there.
Okay, we're not actually. Yeah,
we're just seeing a gray
no,
screen.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we ought to fix that. So maybe maybe you're not sharing the right thing, but I would like to see the
already shared
TV.
it.
Did it come up momentarily?
Yeah, we saw it, and then it went away.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. There it is. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, that's the kind of TV. Actually, that's a little bit of a smaller. That's like a 13.
Yeah, it's probably like a 13 or 14 inch or something.
Yeah.
It looks like it's on UHF.
How do I turn that off? Okay, stop sharing.
No, it can't.
It's on channel 5, which is kind of weird.
Hey, Jim,
I'll turn that off now.
there's a guy named Rich Dale who reworked the TV by pulling, if you will, the old electronic guts out and put a flat screen behind the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Looks very good, and of course it's up to date. It's all digital and all that other good stuff.
I will tell you though, and let me see. I'm going to see if I can bring it up here to show you all. But so I got that big, huge TV, and then I decided every year in Chicago in the fall there's what they call the Vintage Computer Festival Midwest. Some of you go to that particular show, and anyway, so when we went to the show this last time, which would have been 2019, I had that big TV, and so we shoved it into the vehicle and we took it to the show. And my son and daughter helped me put it in there, and they were like, "Dad, this is such a stupid idea to bring this huge TV." But it was that and Eric, where is Eric? Yeah, there. Eric had sold me a Laserdisc player. Earlier in the year, I think at CoCoFEST that year, 2019 CoCoFEST. And so I put the Laserdisc player on top of the console TV, and I was playing like Raiders of the Lost Ark or something like that. And
Star Wars.
It was a huge. Oh, was it Star Wars? Okay, Star Wars.
Yes.
And it was a huge. It was a huge crowd. It was a huge crowd magnet. Everybody wanted to see the big TV. So.
Yeah, I sold
definitely
a lot of Laserdiscs at VCF Midwest as well. So people just really love Laserdiscs.
Well, and they wanted to see the version of Star Wars that wasn't all messed up.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, you want to see Star Trek or Flintstones on there.
Yeah, well, I don't have Flintstones, but I did have Raiders, and I bought a bunch of Laserdiscs from Eric. Eric's keeping me in Laserdiscs, so he's feeding my obsession.
Excellent.
Let me see if I've got. I was going to bring up while you guys were chatting. I was going to bring up a picture of the show. It was pretty good show. Shame we didn't obviously have shows last year, but definitely it was a cool year.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about the Laserdisc, and seeing that going there actually kind of got me inspired.
Yep.
Yep,
there they are.
Yet, Brian, or?
People in the thing are seeing this, but not everybody else. Let me see if I can share.
My wife is having a bunch of media converted to thumb drives. About 40 pieces for around $600. But she came across, I think, 4 VHF discs that seemed to be labeled Glenside. So I may have acquired them when I was secretary years ago. She's found them, and we got to turn them back into Glenside, see if there's some happiness on them. So we got to find somebody in the group that's got a VHS player, and we'll get those cassettes to them.
Mm-hmm. So there's everybody standing around watching the thing. Can you guys see this picture? Am I sharing it or not?
Not yet.
No, there's a gray window on the right.
Yeah, it's like if something's covering it up.
Okay, hold on here. Let me share the.
Yeah,
right
we have your
thing.
desktop and just a gray square. And it seems, I know it's a Blue Jeans problem because everybody who's trying to share is getting that same effect.
No, it's
Yeah, I'm getting the same.
I gotta share. Share here. I'll just share the screen. That's what I wanted to share. So then you should be able to see it now, right?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Okay. There you go.
Yes.
So there's everybody standing around. As soon as we turned it on, everybody was standing around, and there it is, right there. There's the Laserdisc player, and the disc we were playing.
Electronic hearth.
That's right, the electronic hearth. And the guy that's sitting right back there at the at that other table, he was a little miffed because everybody was standing right in front of his thing. That's Glenn Holmer, and I think he was a little bit bummed because he's like, I hope this isn't going to be a deal all the time because, it could be a real challenge to, to do my stuff if you got a whole bunch of people watching the television all day long. So anyway, there you go.
I have another question for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a way to save programs, and I see they have a thing called a CoCoSDC.
Yeah.
From CoCoWares. Does that plug in the side cartridge slot, or how's that work?
Yep, plugs in the side cartridge slot, and an SD card plugs into it.
Okay, sounds good. Is that a good place to buy them from, or not?
I got mine from
It says
Ed.
CoCoWares.com is what came up. I don't know if that's a good place or.
I don't know that they're actually selling those. Let me check just real quick.
That's $50.
How about Cloud9?
Cloud9?
Cloud9 doesn't sell.
Doesn't sell SDCs.
They don't sell the unit.
Ed Snyder sells it.
Yeah, so CoCoWares. So you're right, and so here's the kind of nuance about it. CoCoWares is a kind of like a Google thing for all the different hardware that you can buy. But if you go to CoCoWares and you click on like the SDC or whatnot, it's probably going to send you to it's going to send you to Ed Snyder's website. It says view this product site if you click on that link, and that'll send you to the Zipster zone, which is
the
Ed Snyder's
Zipster zone. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
that's the main manufacturer of them. So.
Yeah, and I would say Ed is the primary manufacturer of them. So it'd be better. And yeah, I mean, I think everybody here, probably almost everybody has an Ed Snyder CoCoSDC. So
I got all kinds of Ed Snyder stuff.
Ed Snyder is a Coco god with a small G.
Yeah, he's definitely the hardware god. Designed a Coco VGA. He designed the Gimme X. He manufactures and sells the CoCoSDC.
He put a
composite
Coco 2
boards,
together.
MPIs, keyboards, you name it, he makes it.
Nice.
He does
That's
MC-10 stuff
the
too.
place I should buy my hardware. That's what you're telling me.
You definitely
I've
should.
bought a lot of stuff from.
Yeah, a good majority of it anyway.
Okay.
Well, I think
Ed's a good
there
guy.
would be. I think there would be. There's a debate that I don't know if it really rages on in the community or not about if somebody just coming into the community, like how much stuff do they have to buy in order to be, kind of enjoy the unit. But the other options, if you don't have a CoCoSDC, would be like an actual set of floppy drives and a FD501, which I think I think buying a set of floppy drives that work with a disk interface is going to be more expensive than buying a CoCoSDC. DriveWire is probably cheaper, but getting it set up with the you have to get the DriveWire code running on the machine, which means you need, I guess, if you don't have a drive of any kind, you'll need like a flash cartridge with the DOS in it, right, Curtis? Right, Ron?
No, just software.
You can load it. You can load it in directly off, say, cassette or something like that too. But you have to reload it every time you power it up. Then.
Okay,
Right.
yeah. So
that's the way I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's doable, but it gets tedious very quickly to have to load it in every time you do that. So by the time you buy a cartridge with the with the with the ROM on it that's got the DOS on it, for just probably a little bit more money, you could buy an actual CoCoSDC, and I think it's a pretty good first investment to buy a CoCoSDC.
And it carries forward, so if you ever got a Coco 3, it works with that too. So I mean, you're future-proofed yourself. You can use it with any of the Cocos.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is, my dad had all that stuff when we bought the system, but over the years he's thrown a lot out. So really, all I got is the Coco, a couple joysticks, 2 cartridges, and so I'm basically starting from scratch.
Well,
and another
thing, SDC has only been around since like 14.
Yeah, John Lowry. If you look at John Lowry's picture, he's got one of the CoCoSDCs in a white case. He's got up on his camera right now.
That's nice.
And all the software comes on DSK files, so that's a good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's around I'm going to go just because I can, it's at least newer technology as far as the.
It's also got a nice menu program that comes with it too, so it makes it easy to select programs and boot things up too that you don't have to sit there and type a bunch.
And if you want to, if you want to still use DriveWire, my point is, the nice thing about CoCoSDC is the DOS that's in the CoCoSDC still supports DriveWire, so it's already there. You can boot it up, and then if you want to use DriveWire because you just like that functionality, which is fine, you have it already available to you from the cartridge. So it's just really useful.
Right.
Because
I still got to go to his basement for some more stuff.
President Jim, Zip, doggone it, Ed, you said Snyder is
Ed Snyder.
Yeah, he is Zipster, right?
Yeah,
correct.
The Zipster zone, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
A member.
2 Ps.
That's right.
Yeah, no, I found the website and everything, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. The only problem with Ed and catching the SDCs, you have to catch them when they're not sold out because he tends to sell them as quick as he makes them.
The main thing he needs to make is another him.
Yeah. We did have a second source starting. Now, they were supposed to be rejiggering that and passing it off to somebody else, but I don't know if that ever happened.
Yeah, I don't know if it is, but I think I know he doesn't want to end up sitting on a lot of inventory, but I mean, the SDC is a pretty popular product, and I think if he made 50 or 100 of them, there's probably 1,000 of them sold already. So I think another 100 would be easy to sell, and so I think he should. I think he should outsource that, but I know he really wants to do stuff, by himself. He bought
Doesn't
that.
he make them 20 or 25 at a time?
Yeah, and he bought a robotic kind of pick and place machine to try and make stuff faster. But he's got so many different things to make, so I don't know. Anyway, but Curtis is right. At the very least, if you want one, you should definitely send him a note and say, "Hey, I'm interested in one," and then he'll put you in his queue.
Yeah. I mean, he has an order place, right? To order online.
Yep.
Yep.
It's just whether he has them in stock, because if he makes a batch, usually it's gone within a week.
Oh, I see.
That's right.
And then he may not get back to getting around to doing that particular piece of hardware again for another month or two. So
I see.
He actually has STCs available right now.
Oh, you're in that lucky
right
week
now.
period then.
Michael,
get
in there.
Hey, this is David. I
right
just
now.
looked on his site and I thought there were some on there. Hey, since you guys are shop talking, can I ask a question too?
Sure, David. Go ahead.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep, we can.
Okay. Okay, so quick question. With the DriveWire, you have to run that on a host system with serial cable, right?
Correct.
Or a USB to serial adapter, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the host system that is going to have a Java requirement, yeah?
No,
depends which version of DriveWire you're running.
Well, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a Java version, and then there's a Python version.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I didn't know.
3 is the
Thank you,
Python,
Tom.
right?
Huh?
There's 3 the Python and 4 the
No, 3 and 4 are
Java?
both Java. It's PyDriveWire by
I don't know whether PiDriveWire is like a V3 or a V4, but Curtis is right. There's a V3 and a V4 of the Java version, and then there's just PiDriveWire, which is kind of off by itself. But it seems to work fine.
PiDriveWire is basically a 3 with parts of 4, and he's gradually adding more of 4 as he gets through it and updates the software, so it's slowly catching up. Because the other problem with the Java version is it requires a fairly old version of Java to run. The newer versions of Java won't even run properly. So.
Well, that's my concern is that there's a lot of, nothing against Java, but there's been a lot of last couple years, difficulty running Java on certain platforms just because of vulnerabilities and stuff.
Yeah,
okay, so one other question. I'm sorry to keep going with this, but it's been a long time. So, I have a hard drive, a 20 megabyte hard drive with a controller that was given, that somebody sold to me a long time ago that I cherish still. I haven't turned it on in a while. I was going to get my Coco out and turn it on. My thoughts are it's going to be difficult to get that working. But my question is, with the Coco STC, can you run Nitro OS 9 like from?
Oh yeah.
You have like a large image like in the Coco STC. Okay, and run maybe like a 40 megabyte, a large.
If you get the ease of use edition of Nitrous 9, you get 128 meg for your primary drive, and you can have a second drive for your own stuff for also 128 meg, which gives you 256 meg. And you can go beyond that if you want to start doing, multi-sector clusters and stuff.
Okay, so if worst came to worst, I could still do the same thing I was doing without that hard disk.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Thanks for that time.
No, that's fine. That's exactly what I mean. No problem asking. I would say though that if you have files on that hard drive, it's probably going to be difficult to get those files off the hard drive.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah, unless you have a multi-pack, then you can.
Yeah, no, I have a multi-pack too. I don't know if it's
as long as the drive hasn't seized up. I mean, that's what happened to mine. It just it was in storage for too long and basically wouldn't fire up after it would spit up. So
that's what my fear is. I have another vintage enthusiast club nearby. They said the same thing. They said, I'll be surprised if it spins up after that long. So we'll see.
Just give it a gentle tap.
David, I do have to say though, when David made that comment, I did enjoy that little twinkle that appeared in Curtis's eye when he started talking about that thing. And OS 9, it was kind of nice to sizzle.
The salesman of me came right out.
Oh, it's really great though. That's why I said I really cherish that still, because it taught me a lot about it, and it taught me a lot about OS 9, and it was really great. I really enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, and it's progressed quite a bit since the old hard drive days too. So there's some new stuff there for you to fiddle with on it too.
Come on, David, you're teasing Curtis now. So. Let's talk about OS 9.
6.1 coming out in a week or two. So.
Remember, guys, if you've had stuff turned off for years and years and years, and you want to be sure to power it up again and not blow something out, put about a 60-watt light bulb in series with the power line. If there's something shorted out like a cap in your device, the light will simply come up to bright like 60 watts. Leave it on there for about 10 seconds and you might notice it drops drastically. That's the short being cleared out of the capacitor without destroying it. So remember to do that. 60-watt light bulb in series. And you can make it different sizes for different loads that you might have. Because that's from a 37-year-old Motorola radio designer.
Jim Brain, behind you to your right, to our left is a. Can you describe that machine? Is that like for drawing blueprints and stuff, or?
Yeah, it's a plotter. So you're talking about that right there. Yep, it's an HP 5000 plotter. I don't know, back when I was trolling Craigslist all the time. somebody posted, it was in Minneapolis, or no, it was a couple hours away from Minneapolis, and some lady was evidently it was a graphic shop that had closed up, and she said she had a 42-inch plotter, HP, it worked, and it had a whole bunch of extra ink cartridges, and she wanted $400 for it, and I thought, well, you can't go wrong, $400, so I have a plotter. And I would like to say that I use it all the time for really important things, but the majority of what I print out on it is movie posters.
I have a plotter that cuts vinyl because I was in the sign business.
Yep.
36-inch.
You can make some awesome shrinky dinks with that.
Shrinky dinks.
You ain't never heard of no shrinky dinks? Oh.
Shrinky
Forgive
dinks,
me.
I remember those. You had to
It's
put
like
them
a
in
plastic thing, cut it out, put it in the oven, it shrinks, it looks real pretty. You wear it like jewelry.
Not at my house.
Talking about shrinky dinks, cuts too close to home in Canada. Jeez.
Oh, it gets very cold, I hear.
Yeah, don't be using that way.
Being 6'7", I don't shrink nothing.
Cool. Well, hey. So we fixed David's issue, and Michael better be. It sounds like he's on mute because he's ordering his CoCoSDC.
Yeah, I think he's ordering the SDC right now. So
that's right. He better be. I mean, all this work we gave him, and he's not ordering a CoCoSDC. We're gonna go find him and.
We forgot to tell him to just download the Ultimate SDC thing off the archive too, so you can get a huge start on your software.
That's right.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We'll go take his Coco away from him if he's not ordering a CoCoSDC right at the moment.
Then he's got to learn how to flash those bags.
Yep. So Jim, I wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure that we're giving your files, your new game, enough play here. So let me see if you put it in the chat, right? Jailbreak?
Yeah, I put some info on there. Nope.
Okay.
There's only one posting on the MC10 group. Somebody faked a high score, and they're asking me how to figure it out. James Host is the MC10 group admin. He's faked some kind of high score post. That's the only action.
I'm gonna put your thing in the Facebook group so folks can get a hold of it. Make sure folks can get. And the goal is to get a high score. Oh yeah, I should put it in Discord. What channel should I put it in Discord?
Probably
the
12.
MC10 channel. The non-existent MC10
channel 427, I think, is probably best.
So which one should I put it in?
We have an MC10 channel, don't we?
Games General, MC10, Emulator, CoCoFEST.
Well, I'm not going to put it
MC10 probably under hardware, maybe? Or that's hardware. Software 10?
Let me see if I can find the one for games. So give me a second.
It'll be under miscellaneous.
Jim Gary, do you also have a CoCos? I mean,
I do.
Coco 3, Coco 2.
I got one of these
Coco
big
1.
gray things.
Yep.
Here.
Yeah.
I thought it was an MC10 because it's got this little chiclety keyboard, but I was mistaken.
Yeah. You can make a thing to fit on the keyboard there with all the graphics.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh.
I'm not used to those big keys.
John Mark Mobley, I got a question for you. I'm looking for a piece of software, if you will, and John Mark, tell me what I need that Chris Hawks has to play Star Trek.
Oh, it's called a speech sound pack, but you need it to work with your emulator.
Has anybody got the software that does that for me for my emulator, VCC?
Isn't that just a plug-in for
As
VCC?
far as I'm aware,
You
VCC
mount it in the
doesn't have a
multi-pack?
It would be
does
Well,
it would
not
be
support
something
the
to
speech
stick in
sound
slot 0.
is there another emulator that has it?
MAME has it.
supports the
MAME has it.
sound.
Oh, so if you ran the MAME emulator, Bob, then you could get it.
If I ran what?
MAME? I don't know how to spell MAME.
I think I want it for VCC. Hasn't anybody done it for VCC?
No.
No.
Oh,
Which
holy
plugin
cow.
What do you want it to
The
do?
problem with the speech and sound pack is it has a microcontroller and its own ROM, so it would take a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true, Ron. I was looking for that one the other day, and I couldn't find it myself, so it's out there if I can't find it.
Okay, thank you. That's a good input. I don't have to waste time looking for it.
Yeah.
John Mark tells me it plays Roddenberry's wife's voice.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't play her voice.
What'd you say it played?
Somebody's grandma.
Well, I'm not sure I know what it sounds like, but it doesn't sound like Majel Barrett.
The speech, you're talking about the speech sound pack?
Yeah.
It doesn't produce waveforms. It's like a computer generated sound.
Yeah, it sounds like Stephen Hawking,
So it's
not like Major Barrett.
Yeah,
Oh.
like a real human voice.
More like Stephen Hawking,
Right.
exactly.
I used to have one of those things. It was kind of cool, but you had to use 40 phonemes, and really, if you typed stuff in plain English, it'd be hardly recognizable. You had to really think in phonemes to work with that thing.
Yeah,
That's right.
I
not like
have
today.
one, and it's really kind of buggy. So it's good for speech, but I tried to do a project with Nick Marentes, and it doesn't do music very well. So the sound part of it is not very good.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I
problems
think.
in the firmware.
Yeah, I mean, it uses the same sound chip as the CoCoPSG from Ed.
Right, but unfortunately, that's behind a microcontroller.
Yeah, PIC
Oh,
controller.
I know,
or something, isn't it?
I know. Instead of and the Philharmonic, or not Philharmonic, but the Symphony 12, which I reverse engineered, or I made a new version of. The reason I think that Tandy put it behind the microcontroller, well, the first reason I think they did is because it reduced the parts count, because they knew they were going to have to put a microcontroller in there to do the speech part, and so putting the sound behind there was just a way of keeping the parts count down. But you're right, that whole connection there is it's variable, right? Because you put the information in, and then you're kind of at the discretion of that controller as to specific timing or whatnot. So it's very hard to synchronize, and the way that it allows you to put stuff in there is very limited as well. You gotta go through quite a bit of incantation just to get a note to play out of the unit, which is unfortunate, because the CoCoPSG and the Symphony 12 have a much more straightforward way to talk to the sound chips, and they could have just implemented that.
The documentation on the speech sound was slightly inaccurate, so it took quite a bit of work to understand the whole system. And then some of the features don't work, especially with multi-tone like audio. So it's supposed to allow you to do like 4 tones, but really it doesn't work. You can do 1 tone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I take exception to all this. I think the device is great.
Well, I think as far as speech goes, it's cool, but I don't know. Maybe I just didn't understand.
Well, it's only a 3-voice chip, so right. Now the stored playback of notes is problematic, but there's always a direct mode to talk directly to the sound chip. But of course, that adds the layer you were all talking about correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know there was a way to access the sound chip directly. There is a way?
Well,
Yeah, there's sample code in the Discord.
Ah, that's cool. I'll check it out.
I think it's what
not
Pitchball
directly,
2 does,
it
because it
is-
does multi-voice music on it.
Yeah,
You still go
it's-
through the PIC, but you get direct access to the registers.
Yep.
That's
Through
that's
the
cool.
pick.
I didn't know about that, so I'll look into it.
Wasn't that device kind of expensive when it was, a new
It
device?
was $90, I think, originally.
Plus the multi-pack.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
How much was the multi-pack when it came out? I mean, what was the cost for a multi-pack?
200 and some, wasn't it?
Wow. So the
150.
So you'd buy a Coco 3 for what, $149? Wasn't that what a Coco 3 cost when you?
The original price of the 3 was
Yeah, it was cheaper by the time the Coco 3 came out.
Right.
$219, I think. Original was the original price, but then it came down to
There was a long
$199.
time when
Came down to $99.
there was a time when every Coco thing was about $300. So hard drive, Coco, multi-pack, $300.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was. I mean, that's quite a. I'm just thinking about, if you were a teen or, not independently wealthy when the Coco was at its heyday. That's quite a bit of an expenditure to get a drive and with a controller and a multi-pack and and the machine itself, and then something like the Coco STC, or not Coco STC, but the speech and sound pack or the orchestra.
Yeah, it took about 5 years.
Yeah. You had to do a lot of paper routes. I'm just taking a look in the RSC 11 catalog from 1984 when the multi-pack was considered new, and it was $179.95.
Good gosh.
Now,
I wonder what Chris Fox was getting for his. He had a multi-pack.
It's interesting though that a lot of the 80s machines, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, you could pick them up for very little. You seem like you could, everything was just very depressed pricing, and then it started appreciating, and now I don't know that you could pick up a Coco 3 in relatively good shape for $170. I think it would cost.
No, they've been
more
going
than
for
that.
like 300.
You have to be extremely lucky.
There's still, I believe, $99 from Cloud9.
No.
Really?
Not for a new one.
Yep.
No, he ran out of those a while back, and now a lot of times he'll have to source off of eBay and repair, and so it's the cost of whatever he can get it from eBay on. Yeah,
I
I
understand.
heard he may have had a carton or two of two Coco 3s together, brand new, never opened. But he said at that time that there was no way he would accept, anything but a very high price for it.
Back in the 1990s, I bought a Coco 3 from Cloud9 for $50.
Yeah.
I got my Coco
No, they were
3 here
cheap, but
for
not anymore.
$15 from a secondhand store. It was right before everything kind of blew up. So a Coco 3 at that time was probably $100, but I got it for 15.
And Jim, you were asking about prices when the Coco 3 came out, and the multi-pack had dropped down to $99.95 by that time. But the speech sound pack was still $89.
Man. Well, at least that's better. You could buy a Coco 3 for a little over $200, another $100 for the MPI, another $100 for the speech sound pack, and then at that point, what was a drive and a controller?
Let me see what that was.
Still more than an Amiga.
In the mid 90s,
Drive Zero was $300 for the Slimline. I'm assuming the 501. Yeah, the 40-track single-sided.
In the
In the
1985, in the 85 catalog,
Coco was going out.
In the 1985 catalog, the multi-pack interface was $179.95.
Well, guys, I bought an SDC, just so you know.
Yeah, well, it was a moral imperative that you do so.
You
Yeah.
you will
You might
love
as well
it.
start downloading off the Color Computer Archive right now. Get the Ultimate Pack, and that'll get you set up for a good start.
Get you SD. Does the Ultimate Pack already have the SDXT browser already built into it?
Yeah.
Okay. So as a little menuing system, you just dump that on an SD card, and boom, you're there.
Sounds good.
Yeah, you put it in, turn it on, and it goes right into the menu.
Nice.
Yeah. Though you can shut that off if you really want to.
Yeah. Yeah, because doesn't it look for an executable, like an auto exec?
Yeah, and you can bring that up manually with the EXP command if you don't want it to auto boot.
You know, the latest updates to that thing are really cool. You know, it's cool to pop in your if you have two different CoCos going and you are one place on one card, and then you take it to the other machine, it's still there. It remembers. And that's kind of real convenient.
That's real nice. Yeah, I saw that.
Plus,
Auto-sorting.
Stevie was telling me how you can set it up. There's a Wi-Fi SD card you can buy. A Wi-Fi enabled SD card.
Yeah, I have one here. Yeah, here it is. I don't know if the camera will show it, but you can get these little cards. They're called Flash Airs. They're from Toshiba, and they have they're like an entire computer in an SD card.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can set them up to be, like this one's set up to connect to my Wi-Fi here at the house. And then there's a LAN drive that gets shared on this unit, and you can dump files in to the LAN drive like it's a server, SMB Samba type server. You can also do WebDAV.
What do you do with that 3-inch antenna that you have to have on it?
Yeah, it's cute. You don't have to have any antenna.
But like Jim's saying, though, that the Wi-Fi one's nice because on my PC, when I download something, I can have my CoCo running with the SD card, and I just have a drive map to it. And I can just copy the file while CoCo's on and go out of a menu and go back into that menu, and the file that I download is there. It's nice to have to power off the CoCo or reboot the SD card at all. So,
but is it worth the $300?
Well, they have gone up in price, but I think I paid $40 for mine. So, but
it's not too bad.
What's it worth
but I
to
like
you?
the convenience.
Yeah.
But I like the convenience, though. I mean, I really like that. So.
Yeah, it kind of adds somewhat sort of Wi-Fi capability to the CoCo, at least for file transfers and such.
Right. No, that's true, and that was I bought a bunch of them back when they were. You get them now. They're like you said. There's a little bit more money, but I think I got a bunch of them in like $25. So I think I got like 3 or 4 of them here.
You technically couldn't you use it for Wi-Fi if you wrote the right software for the CoCo to connect to the card the same way your PC does?
If you no, because the card doesn't. So there's 2 different kinds of those SD cards. There's the SD card, which is basically a drive, and then there's what they called SDIO, which was what So I don't think this card implements the SDIO interface through the SD channel. So I don't think you can talk to the Wi-Fi functionality directly. And you can't do that on a PC either. If you put this into a PC, it's just a drive. You can't use it as just a generic Wi-Fi card. So
now, how are you using like when he was talking about transferring files between the PC and the So how are you doing? How are you connecting to the card's radio?
So you connect to it via So it is over the connection between the PC and the Wi-Fi card. Maybe I misunderstood your question. I was thinking you wanted to use Wi-Fi from the CoCo. So you're saying you.
Well, yeah, but
what is it you wanted? What was you thinking about doing?
How is it? Is it mapping it as a drive?
Tell us how it works.
It's mapping it as a. It's mapping it as a like if you put a WebDAV or an FTP or a Samba or SMB type share over on a network. That's what it looks like to the computer to the PC. So it's just those file transfer protocols that it supports. It doesn't support just generic
it's not
Wi-Fi.
a general
Just-
Wi-Fi.
Show up as a
You
Wi-Fi drive.
You could read and write to a file, right? And then
you could if you could create a protocol where you had like a bunch of files and you were you kind of a Wi-Fi version of SneakerNet where you just kept looking at different files or whatever. You could do that, but it would have to be a file-based protocol. I can boot it up here and see if I can show you what it looks like.
Does it say it's a Wi-Fi drive?
No, it just looks like any type of. So for folks who have a network or a network drive of any kind, like another computer that they're sharing files off of, that's what it would look like.
Oh, okay.
It wouldn't look like anything special. It would just look like that.
On my computer, I just it's a map drive. I have it mapped as a Z drive. It's just 192.168.1. In my case, it's 1.80, and for your network, it could be something totally different. But on my computer, it's going to the www root portion of that drive, and I just map it as a Z drive. And so just like you might click on the C drive of your Windows PC, I click on the Z drive, and I see the folder structure of the CoCoSDC. And if I download something from the internet, I can just go right to a folder, copy, paste, and then go over to the Coco, and it's there without even having to turn the SDC card off.
No SneakerNet required.
No SneakerNet required.
Jim, it's a SDC connector, right? That you buy out of the store anytime.
Yeah, it's an SD card, but it's like think of an SD card and then you'll be able to connect via Wi-Fi to that card to put files on the card.
Okay, I'm thinking of my 2002 Hewlett Packard desktop machine, and it's got all kinds of connectors, and one of them is for the SDC card. I plug it in there, and like the man says, like Rod says, it becomes a Z drive or anything else I choose to call it.
Correct. That would be the way that this card would
if it's directly connected to your PC.
Yeah.
It appears
this way you can connect it to the Coco and the Coco SDC, but you can still access it from your PC wirelessly, so you can drop files on it while your Coco's up and running.
There's a config file. There's a config file on the SD card that you have to set up, and you have to put the parameters of your local Wi-Fi in there. So when you power on the Coco SDC, it fires up this SD card and it connects to your Wi-Fi connection that you've set up. So there's a little bit of pre-configuration you have to do.
Okay.
Yep. Let me.
So there's a little controller in that chip, and then there's a little tiny antenna too, huh?
Yes, there is. There's a lot of little tiny antenna here. I'm gonna bring up. I'll share the thing that I'm showing here. So this is. So you should all see the storage device right now. That this is one of the cards. And so do you see that? Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So let's see. Which one of the directories is it? Setup, I think. Nope, that's not it. I'm trying to think which Brian, which one of the directories is it?
Is it that? You talking about the? I think it's that config file. That config that's down at the bottom there.
SDCX.config.
Here is it? No, those are for the that's for the SDC. That's for the.
Let's hear.
SDC.
Oh, that's the SDC itself.
Yep.
Looks like it.
Boodex.
I don't know.
Well, it's a text file.
Yep. Yeah, it's.
Well, isn't the config file a text file?
Big file. Let's see.
Yes. Oh, you know what? I know what it is. It's a file that doesn't normally show up. It's a directory that doesn't normally show up. Hold on here. Hidden files. There we go.
Yeah, I was just gonna fire mine up. There it is.
So
I've had
there
mine
it is,
set up for so well.
SDW LAN, and so there's a
There it
config
is.
file in here. So I'll probably have to reshare when I well no I won't because this comes up. Let's see. Well, I will load. Hold on here a second. Okay. So here is the card, and so the ID of this card is called Jim's card. Here's the IP address and everything. And then
we're not seeing it.
Yeah, we're not seeing that.
Oh, you're not? Oh, okay. Hold on.
Probably have to
Okay,
reshare.
We're
hold
still
on
seeing
here.
the Explorer window.
Okay, hold on. I'll reshare the directory. Give me a second here. Share.
Your time has expired.
Here you go. So now you can see it.
Yeah.
So basically you and it's been forever since I set these up, so you have to go look at the thing, but you put your ID and your numbers in here, DHCP enabled, which yes, but then I put the IP address in just to be safe, and then you've got like a little picture and all that. And then the name of this card is called SD-CoCo2, and it goes to our secure Wi-Fi. When you first when you first set this up, you put your key, your password right here. And then when it loads up, it'll store that inside the card somewhere, and it replaces with stars. And then, all this stuff and whatnot. So then what you can do is, and I think this app mode 5, you'll have to look it up, but you can set it up to be, it can be its own Wi-Fi. Like if you were, most of the people who use these use them on cameras, or that was the original idea, is you would use them with with one of those digital cameras, like you were at
DSLR.
JCPenney. Yeah, like a DSLR, but you were like at JCPenney or whatever, and you were getting your picture taken, and they wanted to transfer the files off the camera real quick. You can set it up so that the card is actually its own Wi-Fi access point. So you would connect to an access point called, SD card or whatever, and you could pull files off of it. This one, I have it set up so that it connects to our network at the house. And then, like I said, if you go there, then the way you would connect to it, I probably won't do it here, but what you do is you just bring up a
Explorer window.
You just bring up an Explorer window, and then you just do SD-CoCo2, and when you hit enter, it will just it'll just bring up the files right on the directory. And then you can, like Brian said, you can copy files off and push files in and everything. As long as you don't, I wouldn't go about changing directories or whatnot while you got the computer booted, because while you're using the browser, because if you do too much change, the browser doesn't know what's going on. You're basically pulling the directories potentially out from underneath the browser function, and so you got to be a little careful about how much stuff you change. But like Brian said, you can put new files into a directory or update the files or whatever, and then they will become available as soon as you go into that directory again.
Refresh, yeah.
So Jim, how much of a radius do you think you have, to be able to pick up the signal?
Oh, I wouldn't say more than 15 or 20 feet.
Okay.
I mean, there's no, you saw on that card, there's no, external antenna. So there's,
right.
you got.
So you couldn't be upstairs and expect to hook to your.
Well, no, I can because I have this connecting to my Wi-Fi access point here, and then my computer is also hooking to the Wi-Fi access point, and so as long as this card is less than 15 feet away from my access point, which it is, the access point's just sitting right here, it would connect fine, and then it's available on our entire network, and so any computer on our entire network can see it.
All right.
But you'd have to set it up that way. If you wanted to set it up so that you're trying to connect directly to it, then you got to be 15 feet or less. 15 feet or less. Well, I mean, I don't know. You might be able to get 30 feet, but I wouldn't say you could get very far because there's no antenna.
Yeah.
And it's inside a shielded SD slot, which has that metal shield around it that's grounded and all of that. So that's
yeah, you're right. So it's
intended for pretty short range.
It is definitely intended for a very short range. So I would say, if you can get 50, I think if you can get 15 or 20 feet out of it, you should consider yourself lucky.
You just have to set it up so you can dump files to it from your phone. That's all.
Yeah, that's true. Now, mind you, I don't know if I can connect to it here or not, but I'll try and see if I can connect to it and see if I can. Then, the problem is it uses the 2.4 gigahertz, the 802.11 BGN band, and my BGN capability downstairs in my place here is not that great because I use the 802.11, whatever the A or whatever A and X or whatever the 5 gigahertz band is, because it's a better band. So anyway, that's how you use it. So it's real useful.
That would work on the MC10 too, on the new device.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which. It has no knowledge of the fact that it's being used in a CoCo. It's just simply an SD card. So you could put it in a camera. You could put it in a PC.
So it doesn't have to be. Does it have to be in something? Could it be sitting on the table and you can write to it?
No, it has to be in something, and it has to be turned on because it has to have power.
So it has to have power.
Right, because it gets power from the device it's plugged into.
Right. That's right.
It's basically just a file server, built onto an SD card.
Well, how is the RF work on your debit card? It's not plugged in.
Yeah, that's a thing where there's an electromagnetic
inductance,
inductance, and that's how that's kind of read, and it just somehow sends the data bits through on that. But that's completely different, and the data it sends is very small.
Right.
It's just an ID and stuff like that. It's not. You can transfer files. I mean, I suppose you could, but it was
the same way like the cordless charging on your phone works. It's when you hold your device up to the reader, there's an induction coil in there that's putting out an electromagnetic wave, which is being converted into electricity in the device and powering it to operate, to send over the information it's sent.
Yeah, and that's why you have to do it in very close proximity, because that doesn't go out that far.
Right.
Yep.
Good question, though.
Yep. Well, maybe we need to do I don't use it all the time, so as you can tell, I'm not just, Brian probably uses more. I use it from time to time when I'm doing development, and usually by the time I need to usually set it up again because I managed to mess something up, or we changed the network password or something, and I got to go and fix it again. But maybe it's something we ought to do as a demo or something at some point to show people how to use it, because it's really slick. I mean, Brian is right. It's real helpful, and as long as you're not, as long as you're reasonable about what you're using it for. The idea is, like, if you were doing testing or development, you could do your development on your PC and then just dump, have part of your make file or whatever, just push the file over to the LAN drive or over to that,
SD card. Yeah.
SD card. And then on your CoCo, you could just load the file, just load M or exec or whatever it is, and it would just run. And then you'd close out of that, and then you'd make some more changes on your code and push the file automatically, and then you'd load it again, and that whole process would be pretty quick. So that's one. I know that's Steve Strobridge. He was using it. I think he was using one that way, where he was doing some development on a PC, and then he was testing it out on a real CoCo. So
these don't come in two parts then, it doesn't have the little small form factor stuck in it also. It's all just one card, right?
No, it does not. It's however, if you have to use it in a what they call a micro SD slot, which is what you're describing, somewhere here I have an adapter. I don't know that I have it with me. Oh, here it is. Here it is. So you can get these things on eBay or whatever. you can get, and I don't look like you can. They're like this. I guess I don't have one that does exactly what you're describing, but you can get one that has this connector. Let's see, this connector on this side that would go into the little micro SD slot, and then on the other end of it is this thing. It's just a regular SD, connector, and then you that way you could use one of those units in a you could use it in a micro SD slot.
Okay.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, there you go. I imparted some of the limited amount of wisdom that I have on everybody tonight. So I feel like I've done a good deed.
Ask the brain.
That's right.
Yeah, I think Stevie did a demo with it where he was using that SD card with John Strom's disk tool, where he was able to then edit the file on the PC, and then with Ed's tool, then by using the map drive that he had to the SD card, bring it over to the CoCo, and then immediately run that program right on the CoCo without having to power anything off. He could just bring files back and forth between them.
Got it.
Yeah,
cool.
It is kludgy because I have a Mac and it's got an SD card slot in the back, so I got to reach around, grab the SD card, pull it out, eject it, pull it out, stick it back in the CoCo. I mean, it's kind of kludgy to go back and forth.
Right. This would definitely be, I would say if you're interested, they're called Flash Airs. At least the one I know about is called Flash Air, and so I would just do an eBay search or an Amazon search and see if you can find a good price for them. I think you should be able to pick one up between $25 and $50. And all of them are like 8 gig or 16 gig or whatever, so they work fine as a regular SD card as well, even if you don't use the Wi-Fi part of them. But they've got plenty of, like you saw there, I've got the entire like CoCo archive sitting on that card, and so I use it for both. I use it to load all that stuff up, and then if I want to, I can use it to put extra files on to do testing or development or whatever.
I notice I do a lot of swapping back and forth with my cards because I have backups, and the one with a dongle that plugs in, it wore out. And I'll tell you what works good is sometimes laptops have a little slot in the front of their in the front of the computer, and then when you stick it in, it clicks. And I think those are sturdy and last a long time compared to these cheapy jobs. Well, you can't. I don't think you can see. Yeah, like you showed us.
Mm-hmm.
This here works okay, but the other one that I have is this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can't see it good. Anyway.
Yep.
And this wore out. And it also has a slot for the smaller one. But just from in and out, I think it just wears out. So
I don't know when
that would be a good solution.
Sounds like another need for mineral oil. Okay.
Yeah. Mineral oil doesn't conduct electricity, evidently.
Yes, yes, it can. The connector will touch the other connector. The mineral oil will move aside, and if you plug it in a couple of times, you'll feel what the mineral oil's doing. Like if you had an audio cable and you'd hear noise. Put mineral oil on it, and the noise will go away.
There you go.
You're trying to figure it out. We had a product in 1970 and earlier. We had a Quasar TV, and then we had the Mycore radio, and they were all boards were connectors that had connected to other connectors, and we put that stuff on there. Never lost a connection afterward.
So it doesn't connect sideways to the prongs sticking out. You know what I mean?
What I'm saying is, wherever you see that gold plating, Take
Yeah.
a toothpick, a wooden toothpick, dip it in the mineral oil, and smear it on the gold part of the connector. Plug it in and out a couple times. You'll feel it doing its work. Things will go in and out real easy, and you won't tear them up. Oh, mineral oil. It's a laxative you buy from a drugstore.
Yeah.
So if it makes that part of you work, it'll make these connectors work too.
with my old wood too. It's really nice for restoring wood.
Your what?
It's good for restoring wood.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, mineral oil's great.
What you don't want to do not get mineral oil on any rubber. Keep it away from your keyboards, stuff like that. The rubber will swell to 2 or 3 times its original size. You don't want to do that. So it's metal to metal and keep it there.
Well, it looks to me like kind of winding down here. I was going to go ahead and stop the Facebook live portion, and I think I'm going to drop off. We've got an opportunity to watch Contact tonight with the family, so I think I'm going to move on to the next phase of my evening. You guys are free to stay on as long as you want. Yes, the Jodie Foster
about that movie. Oh yeah, that's. Well, good luck with that.
I'm gonna let you guys all.
That was an enjoyable movie.
It was. So I'm
I'm
gonna
sign off too, guys. Thanks for all the help.
Yeah, I do appreciate everybody coming. Those of you who were here to the bitter end, appreciate it. And
hey, thanks for hosting.
We'll probably do one of these every quarter, or at least we'll try to do something. Maybe not this exactly, but something interesting to bring folks together. So until next time, I will see you all later.
73.
Bye.
Play more games.
Take care, Jim.
Okay.
We'll see you.
Okay, later all.
Time to go eat.
That's probably not a bad plan.
Yeah.
I'll join the crowd that's flocking out the door. Y'all will have a fine one, and we'll see you soon.
Okay. Take it easy.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I hope you folks have a great night, and talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, I think I'm sharing a screen. This is Majel Barrett Roddenberry. That's all I wanted to show. like everybody's logging off. Except for Mark and Jim. Oh. Well, I guess, seeing there's no conversation now, log off.